today we're going to talk about how you can make sure that doesn't happen and you can actually leave with the money you want to make. So big thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
What would you say is the biggest mistake most people make when they first come into crypto?
I think the biggest mistake is they don't have an exit plan. That's the main thing, you know. It's very easy to get into crypto. It's very easy, you know, to buy a little bit Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. But when you don't have an exit plan, then you're left holding the bag because there's a lot of noise in the space. There's a lot of people saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to go up to X amount, Ethereum's going to go here, Solana's going to go here. But in reality, you don't know what the market's going to do. No one has a crystal ball. So my recommendation is to always have an exit plan and make sure that you are laddering out of your positions as quickly as possible, especially during this bull cycle. We've got about 12 months left.
What would be a sign for someone to exit? And do you recommend people put in almost like sell targets already in terms of, okay, like I've got a lot of Solana, say Solana gets to X amount, I'm going to start to scale out?
So this is where I differ from a lot of different people in the space. A lot of people in the space have price targets. Now, I don't like to have price targets, and like, hear me out with this. Every bull cycle, there's 4 years in a bull cycle, and the fourth year is always the year that you want to get out of the markets because that's when the most amount of growth happens. And 2025 is that year. So throughout January up until around October of 2025, that's when we're going to be laddering out of positions. I don't care what price Bitcoin goes to, what price Solana or Ethereum goes to, because I'm going to be laddering out over the next 10 months regardless. So, you know, if you want to do like an easy exit strategy, it could be 10% per month for the next 10 months from January to October. That's how we're playing it. And that ensures that we're actually taking profits and we're not waiting for Bitcoin to hit 100K, 150, 200, 250. It doesn't matter. We're going to be taking profits out regardless of the price.
With that in mind, like the way I try and look at it is, I think as cryptocurrency is like musical chairs and Bitcoin's the music. Mm-hmm. And as long as like it's going up, the music keeps playing. When it's coming down, it stops.
Yeah.
Is that something you think is the biggest driving force in crypto, is just watching what's happening there?
There's a lot of different things that we look at. One of the main indicators, which is really interesting, is Google Trends.
Okay, so that's in terms of like mainstream people looking at crypto and like Bitcoin in particular.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever Bitcoin gets to around 80 to 100% on Google Trends, that's a top signal. So that's one of the main things that we look at. At the moment, I think it's around 18 for Bitcoin. So we're nowhere near adoption right now. Like retail isn't in Bitcoin at the moment, and we can see that because there is no interest in Bitcoin or any of the altcoins really at the moment. It's starting, it's bubbling, it is increasing slowly, but we're not there yet with retail. So Google Trends is one of the main things, and there's a lot of other things like on-chain data. So because blockchain's like completely transparent, I can actually see. There's a chart that we look at called the net unrealized profit loss. And basically what that is it showcases the percentage of gains that people are in for Bitcoin. So let's say the net unrealized profit loss is 65%. That means out of every single person that owns Bitcoin, they're in profit around 65%. Usually when it gets anywhere above 60, that's a time that you should be laddering out. If it gets above 75, that's like you need to get out right now because there's way too many people in profit, and that's when the whales start to short their positions in Bitcoin.
How much do you think the big banks, investment funds manipulate the market?
I think this cycle it's definitely a lot more. Obviously we've got the Bitcoin spot ETF, which is one of the most important things that's ever happened for Bitcoin in the last 10 years since its inception. Institutions are buying up Bitcoin like no tomorrow. BlackRock's buying it up. We're at all-time highs when it comes to like Bitcoin spot ETFs at the moment. So I do think that institutional adoption is helping with some kind of manipulation in the market for sure, 100%.
In terms of with the markets, and I think the biggest problem I see is people, this is the gamification of how markets work, like it's red and it's green for a reason, like a casino. It's like actually manipulate the way your brain works. How can people be less emotionally attached and make less rash decisions maybe. And obviously this is one of the things you help people with.
Yeah. So that's one of the main issues that we have with a lot of the people in our group when they come in. They are super emotional and they tend to overtrade. So they're trying to catch pumps. You know, they'll see something on Twitter, on social media, and they'll just like quickly buy it without doing the research. And what people don't realize is a lot of the stuff that's on Twitter is there too late, and you end up being the exit liquidity in a sense. So for us, we kind of work with them one-on-one to say, okay, like, what's your risk tolerance? What do you like emotionally? Do you tend to overtrade, et cetera, and then we work with them to put together a portfolio of like really good standing, solid projects in the space, and teach them that like the way that you make money in this market is just by being patient. You don't need to overtrade, you don't need to be emotional. You just need to hold and learn to hold, because it's actually very difficult to learn to hold. Some people love to overtrade their positions or just jump into hundreds of different altcoins, not realizing that you're diluting your portfolio by that point. There's no way that you can manage 100 different altcoins. It's almost impossible. So yeah, we teach them to have a perspective, have a 6 to 12 month horizon, have an exit strategy, and take your emotions out of the situation. Look at data, look at the analytics, look at what the market's telling you, not what someone on Twitter's telling you to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, or the taxi driver or whatever you hear from the dude at the pub, because I think that's as soon as like mainstream people start talking about it, that's a big flag for me straight away of like, well, like people will just randomly start WhatsApping me. I'm like, this is, because they know I'm interested in crypto. I'm like, this is a sign. Yeah,
100%. As soon as you go to your local pub and John down the pub's telling you to get into Shiba Inu, that's probably a top signal in my eyes.
I actually distinctly remember there was a time where I think it was Floki was getting pushed a lot in Dubai with actual like mainstream advertising, all the billboards and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting to see how aggressively they were trying to promote that. It's a good question to ask you is, I put up something in our group the other day about would people be interested in advice on crypto investing? They clearly are, which is why we're doing the podcast. And the first thing that someone messaged me within about 2 minutes was like, what should I invest in? I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what meme coins? I was like, meme coins? Like, what's your opinion in investing in meme coins as a strategy?
Okay, so I have a perspective on meme coins that, again, a lot of people probably don't like. So I do think that meme coins is part of this cycle. There's no denying that, meme coins, you can make money from it. But you've got to separate it into two different sectors. So sector number one is your blue chip meme coins. So these are meme coins that are over $1 billion market cap. They've been, around for over a year. So these are the likes of like your Brett, your Pepe, your Shiba Inu, your Doge. Like, these are solidified in the markets. They've got a big enough market cap that the risk is lower, but will still probably have decent returns this cycle. And then that's like a 2% market share of the meme coin sector. Then the other 98% is pure gambling. Like, these are people that are just, chucking money out of thin air into just a load of different altcoins or meme coins that have probably like a 2 week, 1 month, 2 month life cycle. And there's only a very, 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 very small percentage of those meme coins that then become blue chip. So a lot of the people that come into our group, they have a meme coin portfolio that's down 98%. Because they don't realize that if you're getting into meme coins, you need to trade them. It's quick, it's fast. You need to have ears to the ground. You need to, know the team behind it. Who are the KOLs pushing it? Who's behind the project? Get in, get out very, very quickly, and then take your profits and put it back into Solana and keep it there. A lot of the people are thinking, oh my God, I'm going to make 100x, 1000x by, putting $1,000 into this meme coin. But the reality is it's extremely difficult to do that unless you are have insider information, basically.
And I think one thing people don't understand is you only hear about people who make 1000x's, you don't hear about the 10,000 people who lost.
100%, yeah. I'd say probably 95% of people have lost money on meme coins. There's a very small percentage of people that have actually made money, and that's because they're early, or they have insider information, or they know someone that's launching a coin and they get in on pre-seed, all of that kind of stuff. But in reality, if you're a beginner in the space, you're not going to make money from meme coins.
What percentage of people do you think have actually made money in crypto?
A small percentage, I think.
Less than 10?
Probably less than 10%. Yeah, but it's not hard to be successful in crypto if you have the right mentality for it, because there's a lot of different factors that go into being successful in crypto. It's very easy to get into crypto. It's very easy to make money, but the mistakes that people make is, one, they don't take profits, so they ride it all the way up and then all the way back down again. So that's one of the biggest issues. The other issue is that, yes, they take profits, but then they, redistribute that profit into other altcoins that then go down. So they don't have a proper profit-taking strategy where you're actually securing profits into like stable coins or fiat. They just over-leverage themselves and put that money back into altcoins that then go down. So that's how they lose money. Other ways is they overtrade, so they're just catching the pumps, and they tend to be exit liquidity for the early whales that have already got in super, super early. This happens all the time. There's a lot of people that come into our group that their portfolios are down 70, 80% because they see something on Twitter, and they put money into it, not realizing that like these KOLs and influencers have been pushing this coin for like 2 to 3 months, and they're catching it right at the end, and then it goes down like 70, 80%. They're the exit liquidity for the early whales that get in. So that's one of the other reasons. And then just being like overly emotional as well, over trading, and then not having like a proper exit plan.